my cuties, welcome back to another video. I thought today we could sit down and go through all of my top 5-star reads of 2024. Because the last video I just filmed was all the books I've DNF'd. So let's show you what I rated 5 stars so far into the year. I have a nice little stack here, and yeah, I'm super excited. Also, it's really loud outside. I don't know why. It's like all the loudest cars are driving past my house right as I hit the record button, so just don't mind that. Also, I was literally just about to leave to go to Taco Bell to get Cinnabons, but then I was like, no, Ella, you actually need to sit down and make this video. So, making this video, my reward is Taco Bell Cinnabons. So anyways, sit down, relax, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's just get into it. Okay, so let me whip it out. Let me whip out the phone. So far into 2024, I've read 21 books, and I've only rated 8 books 5 stars. One of them was a reread, so I just want to preference that. But not a lot of them were 5 stars. A lot of them were 4 stars, but for 5 stars I'm very picky. So, and I go back and I re-rate them too. Please, question of the day, comment down below if you go back into your Goodreads and redo your rating system, because I do that all the time. Like, I will rate a book 5 stars and then like 2 weeks later I'll knock it down because I'm like, actually I don't think about that book ever. The first book we're going to be talking about is Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. This was a 5-star read for me, and I'm kind of shocked it was because I was in a huge reading slump. I didn't want to read anything. Just couldn't. So I picked up this book and I really loved it. Like, it's just like a really cute little romance to read. So basically what Starry Eyes is about, it's about 2 teenagers. Zori, I think that's how you say her name. That's how I pronounced it in my head when I was reading it, so just bear with me. It's about Zori and Lennon. They are basically enemies at the start of the book. You find out that they used to be like best friends, but something happened between them, so they don't talk anymore and they hate each other. So Zori gets invited to go on this camping trip with one of her friends, and it's like an all-exclusive outside glamping trip, and she is like getting stressed out that she gets hives all over her body, but she ends up going because she's like, you know what, I did say I was going to be more adventurous this summer, so I might as well own up to that. So she goes, and she goes with this big group of her one best friend, her best friend's best friend, and then a guy that she's like really into, and the guy that she's into brings Lennon, and she doesn't know that he's coming. So yeah, basically they get there, and then Lennon and Zori get stranded in the middle of the woods by themselves, and you have to read about how they get back to reality, because they're like basically miles away from civilization. So you get to see how they get back, you get to see them hash out all of their issues, and it's just really cute, and I really got good vibes with them. It's a cute little romance, good for the summer. It's chef's kiss. I loved it. Big boy. Okay, so of course the next 4 books that I'm going to talk about is the 4 books in, the 4 books in the Tom and Boy series. I had Binding 13 for a while before I decided that I was going to read it, because I didn't know anything about these series and all I had heard was good things, so I put it off for a while, but then I decided I was going to read it, and then I ended up really loving it. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with my babies. Binding 13 and Keeping 13. I mean, Johnny and Shannon have my heart forever. like actually have my heart forever. I only have one tab in this book. Do you see that? Cuties. If you know, you know. It's at the very end of the book. So if you know, you know. And mind your business because it's a good scene. Basically, if you don't know what these series are about, it's about Johnny and Shannon. Shannon comes from a very broken home. She gets constantly bullied, so her mom finally takes her out of her old school and lets her go to this big fancy school called Tom College. And on her very first day, she runs into Johnny, who is a very well-known rugby player. He's like basically right about to go to the pros as a 17-year-old. Like, everyone in the school knows that he's gonna go pros. He's very career driven, very rugby is all I want all the time. I don't have time for girlfriends. I don't have time for anything. It's rugby until I die. So they bump into each other on Shannon's very first day at the school, and he hits her in the head with a rugby ball. On accident, guys. It's not actually like on purpose. It's on accident. And you kind of get to see what happens between them. A very cute friendship forms, and this is the first book in the series, and then this is the second one, which is a continuation of their story. And when I tell you that I read the whole series in the span of like probably 2 weeks. And mind you, these books are thick. And I wouldn't say I'm a very fast reader. So I just love these books with every bone in my body. It's just such a cute story. It had me kicking my feet, screaming, giggling. Johnny is something else entirely, but I love him for it. It had me crying at times. Like, it's just amazing. I loved these two books so much. Like, I'm pretty sure still to this day I think about Shannon and Johnny at least once a day. They just both have my heart completely, and they're just so cute. And please look into like trigger warnings for those books. They're not like dark romance or anything. There are some triggering content in it, so please look it up if that's something that you need to look into. But again, it's just a very beautiful story, and I just absolutely loved it. So these two books are about Joey and Alfie, or Aoife, however you pronounce her name. Sorry, I can't with her name. I'm gonna be real with you guys for a second. Another comment down below. How did you pronounce Aoife? How did you pronounce that? Because when I was reading the whole book series, I pronounced her name as Alfie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I saw the suggestion. I saw how to pronounce her name in the beginning of all the books, and I decided, no. No, thank you. But her name is pronounced Aoife. I just like Alfie more. I feel like it just fits her character so much better, but that's how I pronounced it. Oh, it's storming outside. That's so nice. I don't know what's going on, guys. Like, I'm gonna level with you. This is a little off topic because I have ADHD and I can't handle it, but I was taking a nap earlier and I literally woke up to the lightning, which that never happens. I've never heard lightning and thunder so loud in my entire life. I literally had to go on the weather app to make sure I wasn't in like a tornado because it was raining so hard and the lightning and thunder were so loud, and I was actually terrified. These books absolutely wrecked me in half, and I mean wrecked me in half. I was crying all over the place. I was sobbing my eyes out uncontrollably, not being able to breathe. Like, it's such a beautiful story, but you have to go through so much to get the beautiful side of it. And it's a lot you have to get through. It's a lot. But I enjoyed it so much. It was a heart-wrenching story, but I love the heart-wrenching. I feel like when it's heart-wrenching, the happy ending is just so much more like satisfying in the end. But I really enjoyed these. Joey has my heart forever. That boy, I literally would do anything for him. He is such a sweet boy. He goes through so much for his age, and it just breaks my heart. But it's really cute. I don't know like how to describe this book for you guys. These two books. Basically, I don't know what, like, I don't want to give anything away, but basically Joey finds out at 12 years old that he has to become basically the man of the house and he has to take care of his whole family. And then he runs into Aoife and they kind of have this like, Aoife kind of is like, you're my friend, we're besties, and Joey's like, absolutely not. And there's a lot of sexual tension between them, I'm not gonna lie, like there's a lot. So you kind of get to see how they become more friends over the years. You get to see the trauma that Joey goes through with him taking care of his family and all of that. And yeah, it's just such a cute story. It's such a heart-wrenching. Please look up trigger warnings for this book. Again, it's not dark romance, but there are some triggering content in them. So please look it up if you need to. But I can't recommend this series enough. Like, just like everyone in it just has my heart, except for 2 people. Well, 4 people. They don't have my heart. Not one bit. But I can't recommend this series enough. If you need like a good series, if you're one of the readers that like, you love reading series, you love finishing series, pick this up. You won't regret it. It's so good. It's just so good. I just saw the next book we're talking about, and guys, I'm so excited. The next book is Picking Daisies on Sundays. Look at the cover. This book literally reminded me of why I want to be a writer. Literally reminded me why I want to write books and I want to be a writer and an author. I can't. Like, this book is such a cute romance book. Like, this is the definition of romance books in my opinion. And mind you, I read a lot of, I really enjoy fluffy romances aside from like if I had to pick and choose between a really fluffy romance book and a really smutty romance book, I'm gonna pick the fluffy one every day. So this was perfect for me. It was beautiful. Everything about it was beautiful. I didn't have any issues with it. It actually, like, I couldn't stop thinking about it days after I finished it because it was so good. Basically, this one is about Daniela and Levi. They were high school besties, and then something happens prom night their senior year, and they don't talk again ever again. Until she's in college and they bump into each other at a bar. And Levi springs on her, hey, I need a fake girlfriend for my sister's wedding. And Daniela's like, you talking to me? What? You also know in the beginning of the book that Daniela, like, was very much in love with Levi before they stopped talking. So you kind of get to see her battle through, like, this is just a fake relationship. He doesn't like me like that. He's never seen me like that. Like, we're never gonna be a thing. But I can't say no to him. I've never been able to say no to him. So it kind of pulls at your heartstrings, which I love. But if you don't love that, no hate. But it does pull at your heartstrings. But it is such a beautiful, cute story. And Levi is literally, like, if someone comes up to me and asks me, like, what my type is, I'm saying it's Levi Colwell. Like, I'm literally gonna be like, that is the man of my dreams. That is the man I want, because he's literally the definition of, like, my dream man. And it just made me love the story so much because it just felt like I was Daniela. And Levi loved me, you know? Pick this book up. I'm pretty sure she's a small author. Her writing is actually beautiful and I love it. And look at the cover. How could you say no? How could you say no to that, guys? It's just beautiful. And I rated it 5 stars for good measure. Guys, come on. If you don't know, this is the second book in the Chestnut Springs series. Cade Eaton, I would do anything for that man. I literally would do anything for that man because he is everything. There's a 13-year age gap between them. She's his nanny for his kid. She's the nanny for his kid. And she's living under his roof. And they have the best banter ever. Like, best banter ever. Like, they're not enemies to lovers, but they're like, she gets on his nerves, you know, because she knows that he secretly likes it. So she does it. Basically, this book is about Cade and Willa. Cade needs help taking his kid, but he doesn't want to admit it because he works on a ranch and he just doesn't have time to take care of him as much when he's working during the day. So Summer, who is his brother's girl, suggests getting a nanny. So he says no over and over again. He's like, no, I don't need help. I don't want a nanny. I'm not doing that. Until he finally agrees, and he does these interviews with multiple women, basically all the women in the town that like want to get with him, and nothing's clicking. And then he goes into a coffee shop one day, and this beautiful, gorgeous girl is standing in front of him, and she drops her panties. She apparently carries an extra pair of panties in her purse for emergencies, and as she's reaching to get something out of her purse, they fall out and he picks them up for her. And then she's like, finders keepers. And she's like, oh yeah, like, I'm the nanny. So it's so good, guys. Like, if you love single dads like I do, you will love this book. If you love single dad / nanny trope, you will love this book. It's also a country book. He's a cowboy. Say less. Like, actually say less, because mama needs a cowboy. This book had me crying. This book had me in my bed literally sobbing because of one scene in this book that I never knew I needed until that moment that I was literally sitting there sobbing my eyes out, and I was like, this isn't even a sad moment. It's like literally a cute scene. But I'm bawling my eyes out because I want that. So the next book that I read is actually a reread. I listened to this book back in October, and I first rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and then I listened to it again about a month ago and I changed it to 5 stars. Basically, it's about Ariana, who is an 18-year-old girl, and she has her found family. She has this little group of friends, and she has always been in love with her one friend, Chase, but she doesn't think he likes her. And then they get drunk and they go to this club and they dance and they kiss. And Ariana's like, my God, it's happening. And then mid-kiss, he like pushes her away. And he basically tells her that he doesn't like her that in that way, I guess. And he's about to like explain why, and then she gets hit in the head with a football. Why the hell does everyone get hit in the head with a sports ball? Like, I'm gonna... Guys, I didn't realize I had to go on like a sports field to get hit in the head by something to fall in love. Like, anyways, she gets hit in the head by a football, and this guy runs up to her, Noah, and she's like, Ariana. And they call each other Juliet and Romeo. Okay. Anyways, so then she goes to college, and you basically see like her college life, and there's an incident that goes down and it really affects her, and you get to see how she deals with that and how she deals with college life. And there's a very big plot twist in this book that will actually have your jaw on the ground, because it had mine on the ground. But it is really good, and it just has my heart forever. Finally, we get to talk about my latest 5-star read. This book is actually... Okay. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Guys, I just want to preference this. If you're an Audible listener and you have that 1 credit that month and you're like, what book should I listen to this month? Look up Powerless by Lauren Roberts, because you will not regret it. That man who voices Kai has me literally on my knees for him, because he just does it so perfectly that I'm actually just like in shock. I listened to this book last month, and I've never actually like listened to a book fast. I was listening to it literally anywhere, everywhere, because I had to finish this book because it was so good. It was so good, and the voice actor for Kai literally needs a pay raise. He needs a pay raise because he's out here doing too much. Like, he's out here doing the most. It's about Peyton, who lives in this kind of Hunger Games based world. She's poor, she has no family, she's living on the streets, and one day her whole gig is that she can rob people by basically falling into them and playing the damsel in distress, and then she robs them. We love a badass queen. Like, say less. So one day she runs into this nice looking man who literally like doesn't look like he should be there. Like, he's dressed very like to the nines. Like, you're looking at him and you're like, why is he in loot? Like, why is he in here? Because he obviously has a lot of money. So she, of course, runs into him and steals half of his money. And she runs away. She's like, bye. And Kai is the man who she stole from, which is the future enforcer. Basically, he's royalty, and his job in the future is to kill people that don't belong in their world. So Kai, you know, he runs into her and he's like, oh my god, she's kind of like hot. Like, he doesn't even realize that she stole like half of his money. So Kai's now in loot with half his money, and as soon as she runs away, he gets attacked by these two men trying to steal what he has left of his money, and Kai starts going down, and then Peyton comes back and she sees Kai on the ground. She fights off this silencer, which is a very like shocking thing to do. Not a lot of people can do it. Basically no one can do it, so everyone's like, the whole little community is like, wow, Peyton! And she gets nominated into these trials that basically kills people. So you get to see how the trials go, you get to see the tension between her and Kai, and then you get to see like everything. It's such a good book, guys. I don't even really like fantasy-based books or like anything like that, and I love this book. I just struggle with fantasy. Not that I don't like them, I just struggle with them. But this book has everything. I can't recommend this book enough. Especially on Audible, I definitely recommend listening to it because it's actually just chef's kiss. I loved everything about it. It felt like I was there. No, I really like this book. And I can't stop thinking about it. Same with The Boys of Tommen. I can't, and picking daisies on Sundays. Okay, so that's all of my 5-star reads for 2024 so far. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you all later. Bye!